Welcome to Storyhive On-Location Nanaimo. We're coming to you live from the unceded and ancestral territories of the Nanaimo people. Deep bow, deep respect, deep love to the original caretakers of these lands. My name's Jordan Dack, producer, poet, songwriter, all-around creative troublemaker, and your host in this creative deep dive, Creative or Die. Thank you to Telus, to Haus of Owl, and to all those that helped put this whole thing together. I'm sitting here with one of my favorite types of people, the big idea people. And if there's another kind of person that I like even more than big idea people, it's those that take action on the big ideas. And I'm sitting here with Crystal Cornthwaite, and I'm going to let her speak a little bit more about herself, but I am really looking forward to this deep dive into what she's got going on here in Nanaimo. She's an entrepreneur, a community builder, and a true supporter of the arts, which we need more than ever these days. So welcome, Crystal. Thanks so much for taking the time. How many days away are we from launch?
Oh, I stopped keeping track. Yeah, basically these doors are opening on the 17th. So yeah.
Incredible.
4 days.
In 4 days, yeah, okay. So you guys can't see right now, but we're in a really beautifully curated corner of the space right now. But if we were to pan out, you'd see there is mega work going on here. I have no doubt that everything is going to be pristine just in time. This is how these things work. And I'm so excited to come back in a few days and check it out as well. So, Crystal, I've got a few statements. Okay, we're gonna do a quick fact. I'll say fact, but there's one false statement in here. Okay, your job is to just let myself and the viewers know which ones are true, which one is false, and if you want to add context, please feel free to do that.
Okay, I should have studied before this. Oh,
yeah, I'm gonna stump you here. Okay, Crystal, true or false? Crystal founded Pacific Arts Market in Vancouver in 2018 and ran it for over 6 years before moving to Vancouver Island.
I'm gonna say that sounds true.
That sounds true. Okay, so then what you're up to right now, although I'm sure there are always new and mini adventures within the adventure, some of this must feel kind of familiar to you, eh?
There's definitely some familiar territory. I'm using a lot of what I learned and what I did the first time around, for sure. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, okay, great. Okay, Pacific, can we call it Pam? Do you ever use
A lot of people call it Pam. Yep.
Do you call it Pam?
Yep.
Okay. I have friends who just, they just hate the nicknames that they were given by other people, and so you've got to check these things out. So
yeah.
So Pam was recognized by Lonely Planet as one of Vancouver's top art spaces and won multiple Best Gift Shop in Vancouver awards.
Yep, that's also true. Really quick, that was actually really exciting because it was very shortly after we opened. I think just like we were only open a month or two when someone from Lonely Planet just happened to stumble in our door and was blown away, couldn't believe what we had created, and immediately got us into Lonely Planet. So yeah, we were in there almost right from the start, which was like such an honor and really exciting.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah,
that's super cool. Okay, true or false? Crystal moved to Vancouver Island in 2024 and began expanding Pacific Arts Market to the Mid-Island, where we are, in 2025.
Yeah, basically, actually, I was supposed to be a quick transition. So when we closed shop in Vancouver, I was supposed to reopen immediately, actually, in Ladysmith. And that fell through. A few other things fell through. So I leaned into the events side of the business, which I'm going to keep doing because that actually became really exciting and fun for me. So I've been hosting pop-up art events in Mid-Island, basically, until this perfect space came about for me to keep doing what I'm really passionate about.
Super cool. Okay, let's see. How about this one? Pacific Arts Market takes a standard 30% commission in line with the rest of the industry. It's got to be true.
That one doesn't sound true.
It's not true.
No, that is not true.
Okay, so how does it work then?
Yeah, well, I have a different model that I use here that I love and that a lot of people do love. I don't take any commission. It's a rental basis, so everyone kind of rents their own section, and that gives them full control. And they have their own store within a store, is what I like to tell them, or their own gallery within a gallery, with all the support that comes with it, and they get to keep all the money from their sales.
I love that. I was in Qualicum Beach yesterday speaking with Ilana Hester from the Tosh, the old schoolhouse art center, and she was mentioning, she kept bringing up how artists are their own small business.
Absolutely.
You wear all the hats, and you basically have control over everything from marketing to obviously your web page, your presence, your everything, all the hats. And I feel like your model really honors the fact that every artist is their own business owner, and they get their own little shop within your shop. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, final one. Let's see here. Okay, Pacific Arts Market is opening a new premium gallery right here at 460 Wallace Street in Nanaimo in June 2026 in 4 days. True or false?
You wouldn't know it to look around, but yeah, that actually
that is true. Yeah, good. That's awesome. Okay, maybe can you just share about what's going on here? Tell us about this market.
Okay.
Maybe let's say in 4 days, when I walk through that door, what will I see?
Okay, so yeah, basically in 3 days, so on the 16th, we have our first group is going to be moving in. I've signed up about, let's say roughly 50 local artists and makers will be a part of this for the grand opening, which is actually July 11th. And so on the 17th, we're doing our soft opening. And there's a few reasons for that. And one of them is that 50 artists and makers is a lot to move in all at once. So I broke it into 3 smaller groups. So the first group is moving in on the 16th. So we'll have about 16 coming throughout the day on the 16th to install. So I have lots of amazing artists coming in. We have lots of fine art. I've got glass work, metal work, soaps, candles, pottery, jewelry, like you name it, and amazing stuff. I'm actually excited to go shopping myself. So when you come on the 17th, it's not going to look full because we're building it up gradually, but you will get that first sneak peek. People are excited to just see this building in general. It's been a long time coming, so you'll get to step inside, see the first round, and have some chats. Hopefully a lot of the artists will be here, and yeah, it's just going to be a very interactive community space with beautiful products and artwork in it.
Yeah, I love the fact that you're allowing people to come in before it's built out to capacity in terms of the art that's present. It feels like a very community building approach to opening, to a launch, and I know how important community building is to you, so that's really cool. At what point do you think that it will be entirely filled up? And I know, correct me if I'm wrong, another true or false statement here, but do artists have a 4-week presence or sort of term on the shelf, or can they stay longer?
Yeah, so essentially I rent spaces on a 4-week renewable basis. Okay. So you can renew and stay long as you want. Yeah. The new thing, one of the things I tweaked and changed with this one from Vancouver is that the initial term is 12 weeks. I just never felt like 4 weeks was long enough for people to get really situated. Yeah. So this time they're going to start with 12 weeks. Everybody's starting with 12 weeks, and then they'll have the option to continue to renew on a 4-week basis or longer, however they want to do that, but it'll be 4-week chunks. Back in Vancouver, I had some artists and vendors who were with me from the start, and a couple of them are actually joining me here too from the start. So yeah, so that's really exciting.
Very cool. Okay. Well, as you certainly know, all the great businesses are solving some problem. What problem does Pacific Arts Market solve in Nanaimo?
Well, I think a big one is giving people, small businesses, that opportunity to have their own store space without all the extra like overhead and costs and everything else that it takes to do this. It's like I said, having your store within a store, so you still get that because you're in full control of it, and I really emphasize that to everybody that's in here. And there's so many amazing small business owners here who want and need that opportunity, I think, to be able to do that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It kind of reminds me of, it's not hard to find online marketplaces that bring a lot of artists or artisans into one space, so you can shop through the diversity of what's available. But it's harder to find that in real life, and this kind of reminds me of that, of a web online marketplace, but where it actually builds community, and you're actually around the people, and you actually get to reach out and touch the art, or if permitted, or smell the candles or the bath salts or whatever it is. Do you feel that the sort of the diversity of offerings is a part of the strength of this model?
Absolutely, and that's also actually what I love about the way we do it here, because it makes such an eclectic space, because everyone sets up and designs their own sections. So you have these very unique kind of setups that come into play for sure, and you get all those personalities shining through, because there's a lot of personality behind every single piece that's in here for sure.
Being on the island, I've been here for maybe 20 years now, and I hear and you get the sense that there are per capita way more artists on the island than anywhere else in Canada. What's the curation process looking like for you? I mean, how do you choose what does land on a shelf?
They make it easy for me because I don't know, everyone is so talented. Like, and on that note, I tell people I'm not an artist myself. Like, I can't make these things, not very well. I'm an appreciator. And, when I see the things that people make and come up with, and there's always new things that I'm like, I have never seen that before. That's amazing. They make it pretty easy. And generally, especially I'm finding with the 12-week option to start, I'm getting a lot of really serious people. Like, a lot of the people in here, this is their full-time business, and they have been doing it for a while. That being said, I love getting, beginners in as well. I don't know, I guess they make it pretty easy because they're so talented.
Yeah, that's great. And it kind of speaks to the fact that we can always use more artists. There's, the art is, for me and for everyone, whether they know it or not, is like oxygen. And we always can use more art. But what we could really use more of is art administrators, art supporters, art adjacent businesses that really support those artists, which is, what you're up to. Your background, I believe, is not in fine arts, it's in marketing. Is that correct?
Business development.
Business development,
and
marketing.
Yeah.
What's unique about the marketing and business development side when supporting an artist versus, some other small business or entrepreneur out there?
Yeah, you touched on it a bit, I guess. A lot of artists maybe don't see themselves as a business per se, or they don't really lean into that very much. And that's fine, and I get that. And I hear all the time artists and makers saying, I just want to paint. I just want to make my jewelry. And that's what they're amazing at it, and they should. But I come in on the other end of it where it's like, okay, but if you want to make money off of those things, then it is a business, and we need to treat it that way and build on that. And that's what we do here at Pacific Arts Market. And I offer a lot of support in those areas for sure.
Yeah, what support? Can you speak more to that?
So not only do I spend a great deal of time individually, promoting everyone in here, I give them the tools to do that themselves. I give them the materials, but also teach them how to use those materials. And I'm going to be doing this again. What I did in Vancouver is holding we'll hold workshops here, we'll hold meetups, different things like that,
Oh,
where people
incredible.
can come in and ask questions and learn from each other, learn from me if they want to. Yeah, a lot of various ways like that, basically.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. And can you tell me more about the space that we're in as well? So this is, what's the square footage of this?
It's 2,100 square feet.
Wow. Okay. Very cool. Is that similar square footage to what you had opened in Vancouver?
It is. It's actually a bit smaller. So in Vancouver, I started with 2,400 square feet on a second floor of a 2-story building.
Okay.
And a couple years in, I think around 2.5 years in, the landlords of that building gave me a great deal to take over the whole building. So I ended up taking over the downstairs as well. So we were up to close to like 5,000 square feet at one point, with working studios in the back of the ground floor, which was really cool to do as well. I purposely wanted to go a little bit smaller now. I felt I just wasn't able to give people that dedicated time that I like to give. I just felt very stretched thin. Like it got to the point where I was like, okay, you have 2 minutes, you can talk to me, and then, you know, I have to go on to the next thing. And I don't want to be that way. I want to be able to give people more of my time and energy, and yeah, I thought this was the right size.
I relate to that a lot, actually. And you know, it can feel like a no-brainer or almost programmed into us to just expand in the business world. And it's, you know, when you learn that lesson that, oh my gosh, maybe it's not always about expansion. Maybe it's about quality and connection. And I'm in the middle of learning that lesson myself right now, so it's cool to hear you talk about it. But yeah. So what other lessons did Vancouver teach you that you applied here?
Well, yeah. So that was one. Geez, I learned so much. I've been reflecting a lot on that, like doing this process again from the start. There were so many things I didn't know, like Canva is one of my best friends now. I didn't even know what that was when I first started, you know, and I look back and I'm like, how did you even pull do that? Off? Yeah, and I mean, starting with the 12-week thing, a new thing that I'm offering that I didn't offer in Vancouver is the shelf space option. So in Vancouver, it was like one option and they were all the same price for floor space or wall space, and everyone got the same size, and I just made it very uniform. Whereas now I've tiered it to 3 different options, and the entry one being shelf space, where you can actually just have 2 shelves, which I'm providing. So that's something new that I'm realizing. I learned that, you know, not everybody needs 6 feet of floor space. When you just have, you know, some jewelry or some, you know, smaller items, just having 2 shelves is actually, you know, quite beneficial.
Yeah, that's a great way to make it more accessible too to those that are also building their own business as they go. Would this be sort of the shelf space that we're talking about here?
Roughly. Just, yeah, similar to this.
Yeah. Okay, very cool. Okay, and so what, you know, if you were to look into the future 5 years from now, I know that, like, you're probably not even thinking about 5 years, you're thinking 4 days from now. But what are your hopes and dreams for this space?
Well, you know, that's a neat question to ask, because you're forcing me out. Like you said, I am very much stuck in that forward-day mind frame. So when I think back again to the Vancouver location and what a life it took on of its own, so many unanticipated things that happen because you get so many creatives under one roof, and you know, it's just bound to go in directions that you just can't even plan for. And so I'm excited to see that develop again. And you know, people who know me know I'm a flexible person. I'm really into collaborations. I really love when people come to me with ideas that we can work on together and make it happen. And I'm sure so much of that is going to happen. And yeah, I'm just excited to see. I'm excited, you know, as excited as everyone else to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's awesome. And do you know, I'm sure that when you first opened the Vancouver shop, there were, as there always are, so many moments where you're just not sure if it's going to work. And then comes that moment when you're like, oh my gosh, I think this is working and this is going to work. Do you remember that moment in Vancouver? I felt it
almost even before we opened, because I did some scouting in the several months before to kind of see. Like, I went to a lot of art shows. I spoke with a lot of, creatives. What would you think if we did this? And I got overwhelmingly positive feedback for that. And our grand opening was a smash hit. We were just packed and it was amazing. But yeah, there were definitely a lot of dips. An interesting thing that I think hopefully I'm going to come out on the positive end of with regards to strength and resilience is having gone through like COVID with a very new business. My business was a year and a half old. And at that point, I was actually at a very high pinnacle. It was going really well. I was starting to look into another location on Granville Island. I had lots of like expansion plans with regards to opening new locations. And then COVID hit. And going through that as a very new business where I was still, I'm a brand new entrepreneur. I've, been figuring a lot of this out just sort of on my own. There's nobody above me telling me, what to do or how to do it. And then navigating that was very interesting, and coming out of it. And we still, we were okay. We got through it. Wow. And a lot of dips during that time, though. A lot of questioning and
of course, people often, even today talk about whether COVID is it in the past or not, and all you have to do is speak to a small business owner to hear that it's not in the past yet. Businesses out there are still feeling the effects of what COVID did, and it's incredible. So many businesses just couldn't sustain through COVID, and some like just eked through just enough, which and really thanks to community that comes together and tries to support after the fact. But you're retraining people who we trained to go online all of a sudden for everything, and then retraining them to try to come back out and get into the real world and around people again.
Good point.
Yeah, you said that you want artists to feel like they're part of the fabric of the city, and what does that look like to you? And how, what is it like in real life? It's such a great ethos and philosophy. What does that look like in real life?
So I guess what I would say is like, I encourage everyone who does anything with Pacific Arts Market, like, obviously now we have this physical space again. I'm still doing the pop-up events as well. There's lots of different ways to get involved. I want them to be as involved as possible. Spend time here, learn from each other, learn from me, learn from the space. I encourage everyone to host their own events here. Like I said, it's a community space. So, if you want to come and do a demo, do a workshop, have your opening, if you're an artist, there's so many different things you can do in that area, and you get full support, like from myself and from the community around us. Basically.
Yeah, very cool. And I've talked to a few people about this project, and everyone is just so excited. One, about what's going to be happening, what you're doing here, but also just that this building is finally getting some new life. Can you tell me about the time when you toured the building for the first time, when you were imagining this?
Well, actually, at that point, I had given up.
Okay.
Because, like I said, when I moved over to the island, I was supposed to have a space. A few fell through. There was just things that just happened that I got discouraged with, and I ultimately decided, I'm going to do these events. I can sustain myself doing these. I'm enjoying doing them. It's been great. So I said, I put all my business stuff into a storage locker, and I said, I'll look at this again in a year or even two. I need a break from, it was just very stressful. And then I got the phone call about this place. So it was through the Downtown Nanaimo Business Association actually connected me with the landlords of this building, because she knows me, and she thought that I'd be perfect for this space. So I thought, I don't want a space anymore.
Yep.
But I was curious. I was like, well, I want to see,
course.
what are they doing there? This is my chance to get like a tour.
Yeah.
So I met with the realtor and we started in the market hall downstairs. And as she's describing it to me and how she's describing it as like this market hall, this vision they have to make this the Granville Island of Nanaimo.
Yeah.
And then she starts showing me there's like smaller spaces along the side of the building. They were all too small for me, but I was still like, wow, I'm very intrigued.
Yeah,
like, I'm glad that they're doing this. It sounds really
Great
amazing.
idea. Yeah.
Then she brought me around. Well, the stairs were kind of in the middle of the floor here at the time, but because we're on our doors on Wallace Street, street entrance. And so she brought me up here and it was like, oh, are you kidding me right now? It's like,
oh, geez.
the square footage was like, because I wanted around 2,000. And yeah, obviously the location, we have the market hall here. We're across from the vault, which I love. Yeah. There were just so many things that I just kind of went, it was like, I was
checked
like,
too many boxes.
I was actually upset.
Yeah.
Like, I was like,
You're
why
like,
is
now
this happening now?
I have no choice. I must proceed.
Yeah, it's like, how can I pass this off? It just wouldn't make sense, so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So you said there were stairs in the middle of the space that we're in right now.
Yeah.
Has there been a lot of development since you signed the lease? Or was...
Well, I mean, that's just all filled in now, basically, because this is the one. Yeah, they're still working a lot downstairs, basically, in the market hall. There's still a lot going on. They're getting somewhere, but it's going to take a little while yet. But
it sounds like it'll be a very vibrant building when it's all done. Eh?
Yeah.
That's pretty incredible.
Yeah,
and then, I mean, in terms of what work have you guys had to do to get the space ready, other than obviously bringing the art in and setting up those?
Yeah, it's been like a turnkey space, and this has been like another, like a very new thing for me, is like being a part of something that's being built almost from scratch, I guess. A little bit stressful.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of things that didn't exactly go as planned, and there's been a lot of shifting that's had to happen, things not showing up on time or not the right things showing up. So it's been a lot of that. But yeah, the landlords were doing the preparing and I was a part of, a lot of the planning with that. This has been going on. I started talking to them actually last April 2025 is when I actually started talking to them about this space. So it's been a ride.
And I suppose you've got a nice lengthy lease signed, and you plan to be here for a long while. Hey? Yeah. Becoming part of not only just the fabric of local Nanaimo culture, but just I imagine that this place will be full of tourists in the next few months as well. Hey, is that?
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, I'm very active in the community. So I attend the meetings with Tourism Nanaimo. I've met with them a few times. I have brochures racked with them, and I meet with like the Downtown Nanaimo Business Association, the Old City Quarter Business Association. I'm very actively involved. I'm on the streets, I'm out there, I'm talking to people, I talk to all the businesses, and just trying to make the presence known, basically.
How much of that just comes naturally to you and part of who you are versus you just knowing that that's what it takes to put something like this together?
It's almost a 50-50 mix, I think. Yeah. It's like, I think I know it's necessary, and and that's what I encourage people to do, and I do it myself, is you got to get out of your comfort zone, and you cannot stay in that comfort zone. There's no growth there, right? So I'm constantly pushing myself out of it and doing things that maybe are uncomfortable at the time but are very rewarding in the end.
Do those things get easier to do? Or do you find like the level of discomfort just kind of stays there?
Sometimes, some of it gets easier, some of it gets harder, and some stays the same.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay. Because there's so many artists out there who are just incredible at what they do, but they are uncomfortable when they step into that world of promoting themselves and just getting out in the world and saying, hey, look at what I'm doing. And they could very easily, and many probably do, spend their whole life just in their studio, hoping that would happen somehow, because it is very uncomfortable to get out there and do that. Do you think that what you've done here and in Vancouver would ever have been possible without that element, without walking, knocking on doors of the right people and just really getting the message out?
I think it would be a very different space and very different experience, because it's, I mean, for me, pretty much number one, I think, is community. And part of, if you want to build a community and have a community, you have to be out in the community, I guess. And if I wasn't doing that, it would be, I don't know, I feel like it would be just a much more like corporate feeling type of space, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. What are the challenges that come with building a community-focused space?
Well, that, like, time management is a big one. It's super important. And that's what going back to what I said earlier, is like being so stretched thin with time and not being able to give enough time to things. I'm really trying to do more of that, where I can spend time like attending like AGMs, like I was saying, and things like that, and actually spending the time to go for coffee with, the chamber ladies, which I did recently, so we could become a valuable part of the commercial street night market, for example. We're now the official art zone of the night market. But a lot of that takes like taking that time, spending an hour, go meet for coffee, have a chat, see what you come up with, and you need to have the time and energy to
that's
be
a good
able
call.
to do those
things. Community focused organization, you need to have the time to be engaged and be hands-on to
and
a
just
certain degree.
and be in that moment, and kind of turn the other things off and go, okay, like, let's have this chat and see what we can.
And that's not always easy to do, because I mean, even if you've reduced the size of your space, I imagine your plate will be full for the foreseeable future. And hopefully it's more full with present moment with the people that you work with, and but I imagine that busyness is in your future.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that even today. I was like, when am I going to have a break, I wonder? I don't know.
Are you one of these people who really thrive on being busy and in action, or not?
I would say so. I definitely enjoy the downtime. But I have a brain that kind of never stops. So I need to do stuff with it, I guess, and make things happen. But I do also enjoy doing nothing sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's very nice too.
No, I get that. Now, in terms of, if we were to compare Vancouver and Nanaimo, very different places, obviously. What does Nanaimo have in terms of arts community and what you're up to here that Vancouver didn't have? Is there something unique about Nanaimo that?
Well, I mean, and I'm going to learn more about that too, because so far I've been doing the events, which has been great. I don't know how to answer that, because they're both so special and unique in their own ways. Like, it feels like it's maybe more close knit here. To me, Nanaimo feels like such a small town. I feel like I'm in a town, which I love. It's like this like village kind of feeling, and you have more of that sense where, more people know each other. It feels like all the vendors know each other, all the artists know each other. There was some of that in Vancouver, but it's a much bigger city. But I also dealt with more of even the whole lower mainland and different parts of BC even, whereas here it's definitely become more like localized and centralized for me. So I'm getting that like close knit feeling, I guess. Here.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I wonder how that will translate into the business model. I imagine that can only be a good thing.
I think so. I mean, I could be being optimistic, but I feel really good about it. I feel, I've met some incredible people. Actually, I love that I was kind of forced into doing those events for 2 years, because it really helped me get immersed into this local community and meet a lot of the makers more, I want to say intimately, because when you're doing the events with them, you're obviously everybody's there, and you have like these good chances to have like a lot of conversations with each other, and be a part of that different type of process with them of like preparing for the events and being present at them.
I mean, it's like a perfectly designed on-ramp to what you're about to do here.
Kind of worked out in the end.
Yeah, very cool. Perfection in hindsight always.
Yeah.
And how has the community so far responded to this idea?
Very well.
Yeah.
Very well. Yeah, I'm even sometimes blown away. I like with the creators, and also just like people in general are just super excited to have this space here. We had our first event on June 7th, and it was crazy because it was my first time coming out almost from behind the computer, let's say, this year. I've been doing everything just sort of from home and planning, and then on the 7th, we had our event at Maffeo Sutton Park, and it was like, oh, now I'm seeing everybody, and the amount of people that came to talk to me and ask me questions and express excitement I was kind of going, oh wow, okay, I didn't almost realize that it was like this big of a deal. So.
Yeah, that's great. And I think that there's a chance too that, Nanaimo being a smaller size city, that I'm sure a lot of the artists here feel that although it might be a great place to create their art, it can be hard to sustain themselves from their art in such a small city. And they really do need some sort of hub like this that draws people in to see their art. And because there's a kind of an ongoing myth, right, that art and business don't really go together, which is absolutely false. But do you find that in your interactions with artists at all? Does that myth get in the way of great artists sharing their art?
I do find that I do encounter that a lot, and it's just something that I'm always working away at, because they are a part of each other for sure, and it's just so important to focus on that. I really want to see success, and I've seen it, and it's my selfish side. It feels good, to bring that to people, and that's definitely what we're here for. Is more of that.
Yeah.
For sure.
And when an artist comes in and they set up their area, you've probably seen some amazing artists succeed within their space, and some not do so well. What would you say is the main reason for the difference? What are the greatest challenges that artists have within a space like this to sell their art?
I guess one of the main things would be, just how active you are within the space.
Okay.
And like I said, like spending time here, showing up for events is a good one. Holding your own events, like I said, and promoting yourself, letting people know that you're here, and trying to, again, I know it's out of the comfort zone, but just kind of being actively involved and treating it like a business in a lot of ways too.
Can you tell me more about artists getting to hold events here? What would that look like?
Well, it's like I said, I've had a candle maker in Vancouver, and it's like, oh, I'm going to do a candle making workshop.
Gotcha.
Or you have like visual artists who, I want to have my opening, a wine and cheese opening, and invite, people to come and meet me and chat with me. Every Thursday for the night market, we're going to be doing that kind of programming. So we'll have an artist who wants to do a talk here and just talk about their, processes and their journey and things like that. Basically.
Okay, very cool. And then within and outside the space, I mean, you've worked with probably hundreds of artists at this point, right?
I almost think thousands.
Thousands of artists.
Feels like a lot.
Jeez, incredible. The ones that are able to sustain their art business versus those that aren't, are you starting to notice patterns? What would you suggest to an artist? Again, not necessarily within this model, but just in general, what would you suggest to an artist in terms of what's the best way, or a few hints on how to market their art in the world?
Well, yeah, I guess a big one is owning your business, owning what you're doing, and learning from, things, learning from what not to do and what to do just based on your own experiences would be a big one. And just not being shy to spread the word about yourself. I think, I get it, believe me, but it's like sometimes I almost say you have to be annoying in a way. I don't really like that word, but
no,
it's
I get what you mean though.
You have to be willing to, just be repetitive and keep making sure people are aware of what you're doing and be clear with your messaging. And just, being really present in what you're doing and including the business side of it.
Yeah. And I think those that are a little bit less comfortable with actually going out and promoting themselves, they find themselves behind the computer screen almost all the time, trying to do the same thing but from the safety of their office. And do you find that in a place like Nanaimo, an artist needs to get out of their studio and get out into real life and sharing about their work, or can it all be managed from an online presence?
I think you do. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure there's different ways to succeed as well. Sure. But I do see the value in doing that. And you have artists as, I guess a good example is like Richard Brodeur, who's an ex-hockey player and now an artist. He recently took over at the Ladysmith Art Gallery. He was there for a month, and he was there and he sat there painting, he sat there talking to people and meeting people, and if you have someone like that doing that and willing to get out there and do that, I think that says a lot, I think. Yeah,
I agree. And do you think that people are more hungry now for in-person experiences than they used to be? Or is it, do you notice? I mean, COVID may have had an impact on that, I'm not sure, but do you find any difference over the years?
I think so. Yeah, I've definitely noticed, just kind of peaks and valleys with regards to that. I feel really good about the timing right now. I think people are wanting it, especially in this area. I do feel like whenever I talk to people about the different things we're going to be doing here, like I said, I get a lot of excited responses. I think people are excited to just do community things, and there's just a lot going on in Nanaimo right now in general that I'm excited about, with the rejuvenation that's happening downtown and more cruise ships coming in, and I do think there's that desire happening right now.
Yeah, you can almost feel that energy out there right now in Nanaimo. Yeah. It's the beginning of a new chapter. And
yeah, it does. Yeah, I mean, I'm biased in that way, but I do, and when I talk to people,
and I feel it. So
okay,
yeah,
good.
absolutely. So I think that your optimism is totally justified. What do you think is going to be one of the greatest challenges in this adventure?
That's a great question. Probably similar to before, is just a lot to do with just marketing and just making sure people are constantly aware that we're here and what we're doing, and just being present in the business and staying positive, and it is easy to get discouraged. We all do. We have those moments. So just getting through those and persevering, basically.
Yeah. Do you think that, can you imagine your first break, your first vacation after opening this place? I feel like you need to plan something, even if it's, a couple years from now, What does success look like to you in a space like this?
Well, and I think what's interesting about that is how much my success is intertwined with so many others. There's no way that I can solely have success. And I think that's a scary and beautiful thing, right? Because it's I need and want so many others to succeed in order for me to feel that I'm successful, basically. So seeing the success of others and being a part of it, and even helping it to happen is ultimately what would lead to me feeling successful.
And can you just transport me for a minute to a day in the future where you walk in through the front door of this thing that you've built, and you're looking around, and I'm not sure exactly what's happening, but the feeling that you get is, okay, we've done it. This is amazing. Can you tell me what you'd be walking into? What would be going on in the space?
Yeah, a full and vibrant space full of beautiful artwork and items and, happy customers and supporters coming in and obviously buying things. Yeah, just essentially just a very active space. And actually we did have a lot of that in Vancouver, like people, and I hope it happens again here. But one thing I loved about my job was that reaction. We even talked about putting up like a camera to catch that, like, of people's first times entering the space. Cool. And we had so many like people, we were at the top of the stairs and people would come in and just stop and go, whoa, what is this place like? And I want to see more and more of that, and just keep, and the same people coming back too. You get those regulars that just want to come in all the time and experience it.
Yeah, very cool. That sounds awesome. So when someone first walks in here and their breath is taken away, it sounds like the curation of the space and how it's set up is in itself its own art as well. Right? And do you do a lot of that yourself? Do you decide, who's deciding where different pieces go and where? I mean, do the artists get to choose which location in the shop, or tell me more about the curation of it?
Yeah, it's mostly me for the main parts. I just a couple days ago designed the floor plan.
Okay, cool.
So it's been coming together. I mean, I already had ideas in my head, but actually to get down and actually put it on paper. Now. So there is a floor plan. We have wall spaces. Like I said earlier, there's 3 options, and one of them being wall space for visual artists to have their own dedicated section of wall space. We have a gallery system, hanging system that we've installed to make it easy, which will have wires coming down for easy hanging of artwork. So the walls will be, covered in that beautiful artwork, and then I've made some dedicated floor spaces and shelf spaces. So I've got that kind of the outline of that part of it, and then the beautiful part is then all those people come in and they design each individual section. So it kind of all works together, to create this. And like I said, that's why it's hard for me to even imagine what that's gonna look like.
Yeah.
And sometimes last minute things happen. Someone will come in to move in and I'll go, you know what? Actually, I think you'd be better over here. I think it's gonna work better this way. And so you have to be flexible with things like that too.
But with your background in marketing and business development, what I'm hearing though is that you also have a creative element. And I mean, oftentimes creativity goes very well. Well, it definitely goes well with marketing and business development. Do you consider yourself a creative person?
Yeah, I guess I do. Yeah, because I do have to think pretty creatively a lot of the time, just because a lot of things happen, unexpected things, or even expected things that we're planning, and there's a lot of creativity that goes on behind that in order to make it happen in that kind of community way with the arts, basically. Yeah.
And do you think, I mean, in any community like Nanaimo, all the artists that will be represented in your space, they were here last week, before the space was opened, just making their art, but not having necessarily thoughtful spaces like Pacific Art Market to share their work in. Do you think, what does it do for a community like Nanaimo to have a space like this? Do you imagine that, how will it impact the community of Nanaimo as a whole?
Well, I hope just very positively. I think, having this more kind of permanent spot that where you have your own section. So it's different than, having a few items. Like some people have, I have a few items in that store and that store, I guess consignment sort of thing, which is great. I think, there's definitely benefits to all different types, but I think giving people the ownership over what they're doing, my hope is that it gets them thinking more in those business terms, and also being amongst other similar or like-minded or, just creative people. I think a lot of connections are going to happen, and they did. I saw that a lot in Vancouver. I saw so many like friendships form, collaborations form. Just a lot of things like that started to really happen within the community. There's still people I know who are now like best friends who met on, because of Pacific Arts Market, which is like a pretty amazing thing.
Yeah, that's huge. That's an impact that reverberates and echoes for ages. Yeah. And how about for you personally? What positive impact do you hope that it has for Crystal?
Well, I mean, it already is having a big one, and it's just giving me that sense of community that I long for. That's why I started Pacific Arts Market. I've always been kind of just like, against, I don't want to say against, but I'm not really into like, corporate and big corporate things and big corporate type stores and things like that. And I just thought about, and because I was in business development management for bigger companies, basically, I really started to think, well, I want to do this for myself and for others smaller businesses who need it. And being able to spread that out and do it for so many people rather than like one big business, for example, it's very rewarding. And it's just giving me exactly what I wanted to do.
Yeah. And when before you opened the first spot in Vancouver, were you dreaming of a place like this for much, like for a year before, or for 5 or 10 years? Like when did the whole idea, the seed, drop into the soil?
I mean, I always wanted my own business, like even as a kid. Yeah, I just always like thought about having my own business. And then, like I said, because I can be a very vocal, outspoken person, and there were times when I was like getting on my friends a lot for shopping in big box places, like you need to shop local, and and I just found myself like saying those things a lot, and then and attending like craft fairs or markets and things like that, and then also learning like the difficulties involved. Like, so a lot of these people, especially back then in 2018, that was kind of their only outlet, like their only way to get their stuff out there was like on this weekend or this one day and then you spend an hour or 2 hours setting up, and then you take it down, and then you do it again the next day.
Right.
And all of that sort of started coming together in my head, and I thought, well, what if there was like a market that was like more permanent, and then you had all these small businesses, like 50 to 100 in one roof, and just sort of like it took time to sort of like connect all the dots in my head, basically.
But the seed was there for a bit, though. Very cool. Now, can you just break down for a minute some of the business fundamentals of a model like this? Is the city of Nanaimo, do they provide any support for this? Or is it completely, are the revenue streams completely from the shelf space, or what does it look like?
It's completely from the shelf and wall and all the spaces within. I
would have hoped that the city of Nanaimo would have kicked in, because it's really boosting up just the cultural presence of Nanaimo. And
I agree. That would be nice.
Maybe that would be nice, yeah. But okay. So, and when an artist wants to hold a candle making workshop, for example, is that something where they would rent the space to hold the workshop? Or
it depends on a lot of different things. Generally, if they already have a space here, I might work out sort of like I want to say like a commission basis on selling tickets, something like that, where we would just work on the behind the scenes together, like whatever makes the most sense. But ultimately it's me just wanting them to succeed and getting behind them, and then covering any costs involved that I incur with regards to the promotions and marketing and the usage of the space for that type of thing.
That makes sense. And I mean, earlier in our interview I was mentioning how this really reminded me of what you can see in some online marketplaces. Will there be an online market connected to the in real life?
I do have an online store, which we launched during COVID, because that was one thing that we kind of went, okay, I guess we have to go online. So it is still there. I have not been giving it as much of my energy, obviously, especially lately. But back then it did kind of coincide where it was like, okay, you have a space in here and you can have a few items on the online store as well. Since I haven't had a physical location for like 2 years now, that connection obviously isn't happening right now. So a lot of the people online are just online, obviously, or have always just been online, I should say. But once I get more settled in here and the dust settles, I'm going to start to look at how to kind of reinvent that and bring that all together again.
Yeah. It sounds like you are wearing many, many hats right now. So, I mean, which is pretty standard, you know. Which hats would you say are, of all the hats, are your superpowers, and which ones do you feel are the greatest challenging hats for you?
I think I'm going to go on like what I get told a lot. It's like people tell you your strength and you kind of go like, okay. So apparently I'm very good at engaging and being a part of the community and marketing and promoting, just actively supporting the individual artists that I work with. I do get told that enough that it makes me sort of believe it, I guess, at this point. And I do enjoy doing those things because, like I said, as an appreciator, it's not hard for me to promote and support these people because I already love what they're doing.
You believe
so I'm
in
like,
it
look at this art, look at these candles, like, you know, because it's just so easy for me to do that just because I genuinely already really like them. So that part comes, I guess, a bit more naturally for me, and it's important as well. I guess the hardest parts for me is just, more just like, I don't know. The thing that comes to my mind is just more like the bookkeeping side or like the financial side or dealing with systems, technology, like that kind of stuff is definitely not my forte. So, but being a business owner, you kind of have to do everything. So it's like, I have to get good at those things too, I guess.
Yeah, but that's, what I hear is that that's just like the perfect way to be, because there are so many apps out there that can help with the bookkeeping stuff, but there's no app out there that will take the place of going out and engaging with the community. So if you've got to have one superpower and challenge, I feel like that's exactly the way it should be.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. We're going to wrap up pretty quick here. Is there, people are going to want to know where they can find out more about Crystal and about PAM and Pacific Arts Market. Can you share a URL or where can they go to find out more?
Yeah, so it's pacificartsmarket.ca.
Easy.
Yeah, easy. And we have a Nanaimo Gallery tab. So when you click that tab, you'll get the information about the Nanaimo Gallery. There's sub-tabs under there where you can see the actual artists that will be in the gallery. And I also just created an events tab under the Nanaimo Gallery so you can see what we have going on here. And then there's other sections for like our pop-up events. There's an Apply Now section. I try to make it as user-friendly as I can, because I get a lot of feedback about the website and I'm feeling pretty good about it. And obviously our social media, very active on social media. So on Instagram, you can find us, just look for the logo for Pacific Arts Market, and on Facebook, pretty active in those as well. And obviously come by, come and see us, we're at Unit 100, 460 Wallace Street in Nanaimo, so kind of across from City Hall, across from the vault sort of area. You'll find our door, and we definitely want you to come and see us.
Yeah, in real life. Come here. Yeah, very cool. Last question for you, Crystal, is what is important to you? And by that, I mean not what was important to you 10 years ago or in Vancouver or even what was important to you last month, but what's important to you this week or today?
That people like what I'm doing, that they like the space, that they're happy here, that the artists are happy here, that customers feel good when they walk through the doors, and that people find success and growth, including myself and the people that I work with, that they get something out of it, that it's an enriching experience for everybody involved.
Yeah, I can feel how authentic that is for you, you know, that really is what you're up to here. So, I mean, I'm not from Nanaimo, but I'm from the island. And so on behalf of myself and other islanders, thank you for your time and energy and sleepless nights, I'm sure, that have gone into building a space like this.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be amazing.
And thank you for doing this. This is a cool experience.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Yeah. So we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Looking forward to connecting again with you soon. Make sure to come out to the Pacific Arts Market. I'm going to be here all the time, so come hang out with me. And yeah, until next time, be well, be wild, be your beautiful self, and we'll see you again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now this is where the live stream is still going. So the guest just gets to sit there awkwardly for a minute while I deal with this.